So hopefully you saw the last video on my installation of the Puddle pods. At the end of that, they weren't working and something was going on with my truck. It seemed like a short, and when I would try to close the door, it would beep and say no key detected and wouldn't allow me to lock the door. So at that point, I just disconnected it and said I'd leave it for another day. It was 108 degrees outside and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So I contacted MESO Customs and they suggested, which I think I was just too hot and tired to think of it. They basically said to go through and plug one thing in at a time to see if you can find where the problem was. So after doing that, I was able to discover that the wire running from the driver's side to the passenger side, so the long wire, the wires were actually connected wrong right up here in the connector. So normally over on that side, all the other ones, they go black, yellow, red, white. Well, on this end, it's got the white and the red reversed. So that's where the problem was. But with this connector, I can't get those the tiny little prongs out in order to switch them. So what I was able to do on the short wire going from here out the mirror, I was able to get those prongs out and I just moved those. It's a lot easier than cutting and splicing and having to redo all of that. They did send me 2 new wires to go out because that's where we thought the problem was, but upon further inspection it actually turned out to be this wire right here. So it's a problem that I can rectify without MESO Customs having to send me out a complete new wire. And on the plus side, if you remember in the last video I showed you, it looks like this. It's got 2 wires here. And I don't know what the reasoning is for that. Maybe they left it so that you can plug in another accessory. I'm not entirely sure. But what I did is since I had to move the wires around, I just took out that second one and I'll probably just leave it like that. I'm not going to take apart the driver's side in order to take that second one out. But since I'm in here on this side, and so what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and plug it in. Grab the LED pod, and you can see that it turns on, which is what we want. And when I push the button on the door, nothing's beeping. And if I had a third hand, I could show you that it locked. Let's do this. So there's the light. Oh. So hopefully you can still see that the light's on. Grab my keys, button, step goes up, and the truck locks. And it works. So now we'll get it put back together, and I will show you the end product. And maybe you remember in the last video, I told you to be careful with these nuts right here, because if you drop them inside the door, you lose them. The second time I was taking this apart, that's exactly what I did. The nut is somewhere around in here. It won't go all the way down, and I can't get anywhere in there in order to fish it out. I did exactly what I told you guys to be careful not to do. Well, since it's still bright outside, we gotta close the garage, and it's getting warm in here really quick with no air movement. So we're gonna show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, so we got all the lights off, the truck's locked, and you'll see the puddle pods light up the whole side of the truck as I walk up to it. How cool is that? I like it a lot. I mean, it lights up this whole area on the side of it, and the same thing on the other side. The other side's working, you may not be able to see it from that side, but... Well, that does it for the Puddle Pods installation from MESO Customs. I got them working, and I really like them. I like them a lot. Throughout the week when I first found the problem, I at least had the one side working. I didn't have the other side hooked up, but until I could really track down the problem. But I really like it. So check it out. Check out MESO Customs. I'll put a link in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more I Can Do It Myself videos.